welcome everyone. Thank you so much for attending today's webinar. My name is Barrett Wamers and I'm going to be your host today. Our presenter today is going to be Dashevsky. Okay, so Dashevsky's been a Zerion employee for a very long time now, and he has been working with a lot of our bigger customers, and one of the requests that's come up a lot is to use GeoJSON data and to have it integrate with other mapping software. So during today's session, he's going to dive into that and show you how he's been able to achieve that functionality.
All right, thank you, Barrett. Hi, folks, and it looks like everybody was interested to learn more how to capture more than just one single point. So in today's webinar, we're gonna go beyond just collecting a single point. A lot of you already using iFormBuilder, and most likely you're already collecting some geospatial data, but currently in iFormBuilder, it allows you to collect just a single point of a single location. What if you need to capture like an area? Think about, I want to capture area of my farm. I want to capture line from point A to point B. How would you do that? So we're going to cover how we're going to set up your form to be able to do that. We're going to go through some steps we take to be able to generate GeoJSON, and output of GeoJSON, we'll be able to, in our demo today, we're going to use ArcGIS Online to be able to import this GeoJSON into the platform and quickly visualize our data using the map. So let's start with architecture. It always starts with a good data structure to derive desired outcomes. So if your form is not set up to be able to capture this type of information, you need to be able to make sure that how you're designing your form is going to allow users to capture multi-points in your forms itself. For example, if you're capturing a farm or area, you need to be able to allow users to capture at least 3 points to be able to construct this area. Or if you're capturing a line, for example, from point A to point B, you need to make sure that your form is set up to be able to capture your starting point and end point for your GeoJSON. So after you collect the data, and your data can be in different shapes and different way you construct your form, you need a means to be able to shape your data so it can produce a GeoJSON file. And in our example today, we actually is going to be using a Zerion Dataflow. And for who is not familiar with Zerion Dataflow product, is allows you Zerion Dataflow allow you to consume the data from iForm or any other sources as a JSON, able to transform your data or shape your data and be able to output JSON file or Excel file, or be able to push this data into other type platforms. So in our example today, we basically going to generate a GeoJSON file that we'll be able to download and import it into ArcGIS Online. But you have many other options to be able to use like ArcGIS Online web services to integrate directly with ArcGIS. And after you generate GeoJSON, and for who's not familiar with GeoJSON, GeoJSON is just geospatial data interchange format based on Java object notation as a JSON, and it defines several types of JSON object as a matter in which way are combining to represent data about geographic features, the properties, and the spatial extents. So GeoJSON is a universal format that can be consumed not only by ArcGIS, but can be consumed by other geospatial analysis type software, like if you're using Google Earth or you're using OpenMap or Mapbox, this file can be consumed with this type of platforms. So before we're gonna start with a demo today, I just want to open up if anybody have any questions so far.
So there have been some questions, but I've gone ahead and answered them more. So I think at this point, when you're ready, everyone else is also excited and ready to see the demo.
All right. So let's get into the demo. And I'm going to share my device here. So I built a form here. It's construction planning form. And let me just quickly walk through how this form is set up. So I'm gonna go ahead and log into my iForm account. And I'm gonna switch to my GeoJSON profile here. So let's start with the parent form. So my parent form is construction planning. On construction planning, I have a couple elements we're capturing just a generic information about construction site, evaluation date, and a location of the site. So when we're capturing just construction site location, at this point, we're capturing only a single point location. Then I have also two subforms that I set up, and each of the subform is a multi-paging subform here, both construction site area and pipeline survey. And construction site area is going to allow you to capture the area of the construction where I'm planning to do my constructions. And pipeline survey is going to allow me to do a surveys of pipes that in this area, like gas, electrical, sewer. So if we're going to go to construction site here, this is my first subform. So I really have two elements on this subform. I have construction site point number, so it's going to be incrementing as you start entering data for subform. So it's going to go from 1 to as many points you're going to collect, and you're going to also collect location information about this point. Similar with pipeline. So pipeline actually divided into pipeline inspection subform, but you'll be able to select a pipe type, and pipe type, to example, gas, electrical, or sewer. And then you're going to go to record location subform. And on record location subform, it's structured similar to construction site subform. They have my index point and a location. And index point is the same thing as it's going to be incrementing from 1 to as many points you're going to be capturing. So I'm going to go ahead and share my device here. And on my device, I have my construction planning form. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill out this construction planning form right now. And we're going to give a construction site name. So, for example, it's going to be building 108. Evaluation date is going to be today. And I'm going to capture my site location. So basically, this is where I am right now. Now we're going to go to a construction site area. So as you can see, construction site point number is going to be number 1. So I'm going to record my first location of my area. So because I cannot move while I'm doing the webinar, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually I have my location element set up so I can actually change the location. So I'm going to choose my first point is going to be start here. And I'll be able to collect as many points as I need to be able to construct this polygon. And I'm gonna capture at least 4 locations for my polygon area. So it's gonna be here, And my last point is going to be here. So as you note, I did not go back to my starting location because part of my data flow transformation script, I already include starting point as also as a last point for my polygon. So it's be able to properly construct my polygon area on the map. So great, now we capture the area where we're going to be doing the constructions. We're going to go back to our parent form and we're going to do a pipeline survey. And we're going to start with guess. So I want to see where my guess line runs. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to say the guess line starts here. And I'm going to add the second point here. It's going to go to here. And I'm going to add a third point here as well. And let's say it's going to end here. Great. Now I capture my guess location. Now I'll be able to capture my electrical. So electrical is going to start from beginning of my street here to my construction area when I'm going to be doing. All right, so now I have my gas, electrical, and I'm going to do the last one is the sewer. So the funny story behind it is a few years ago, I was doing some constructions and in my backyard, and when I pull county plans for all the pipes running in my area, so because I'm gonna have to do some digging, the sewer line was not on the plan. So because the plan's still a paper plan and nobody was capture actual proper sewer line, so when we start digging, we hit the sewer line. It was not very pleasant. So having electronic records and be able to visualize this, I think it's very good benefits, and just having this information available rapidly to a user. So I'm gonna also do my sewer line here. So the sewer line is gonna run from here, and it's gonna go to all the way down to the backyard. And I'm gonna switch to
Or there was a great question that just came in. Would you mind if I asked it right now?
No, go ahead, Barrett.
This question is from an individual, and they say when I collect a location point, it does not allow me to move the point from where I am. How is he doing that? Is he using a different widget?
So we actually introduce a location change reference ID. And Barrett, I don't know if you want to pull this article, where if you specify a location change in reference ID for location element, it's going to allow you to move the point on the map.
Perfect. I'll definitely send that to everybody. So thank you.
All right. So now we finish with our sewer line, and we ready to submit our records. So we can just to review quickly, we collected 4 points for our site area. We collected 3 different subform records for gas, electro, and sewer. Each of them may have 2 or many points. So, for example, for gas, I have 3 location points to construct my line. For electrical, I have 2, and for sewer, I have 2 as well. So now that I'm ready to submit my record, and I'm syncing with the server right now. So the next step in the process is to be able to, if you look at the data in iForm itself, so let's jump back to iForm here. And my construction planning. So if I go to a construction site area, so you're gonna see for construction site area, I have 4 records. Now I need to be able to combine these 4 records and make it into a single record that relate to my construction site. So this is where part of Zerion Dataflow comes in, where I be able to construct this data, and I build my JavaScript functions within record set transformation. And when I'm gonna run it, it's actually gonna give me, take a look at, to example, this is gonna be a geometry as Polygon, and it's gonna combine all these 4 points into a single string. So I'll be able to produce a GeoJSON file that can be consumed by geospatial type software. So without going too much into the details, what I'm going to do is I'm just quickly going to download my GeoJSON file here. And I'm going to go ahead and pause it here for a second and see if anybody have any questions until this point.
Yeah, hi, Or. There's another question that just came in, and this is about just GeoJSON as well, and they're asking what type of GIS software can they use for GeoJSON besides the ArcGIS, which you're going to show us in a minute.
Yeah, so you can use any modern geospatial analysis software. Like if you're using Google Earth, you can import this GeoJSON into Google Earth. If you're using OpenMap, you'll be able to incorporate GeoJSON. GeoJSON is an industry standard format to consume a geospatial geometry type data into geospatial type analysis software. So most of the modern geospatial analysis software will support GeoJSON format.
Great, thank you, Or. There's another question, and they're asking about if you can you include additional details about a specific feature, like additional data that you collected on the form?
Excellent question. Yes, and this is what I'm planning to demonstrate as part of when I'm going to import my file. So I'm going to open my file here and just show you what this file looks like without importing into ArcGIS yet. So you're going to see I have a few records on my form already, and you're going to see here my building 108 record that I just created. So I included some property, for example, site name, building type. And you're going to see also for pipes, I included site name. It's related to this building, and type of the pipe that we surveyed. So you can include additional information about data that you're planning to represent on the map from the iForm itself. So now I'm going to go ahead into my ArcGIS Online, and I'm going to import my GeoJSON file from my computer. So now ArcGIS is going to go and do by magic to be able to consume this data and create features that I can actually then open the map and include this as a feature layer on top of my map. So it's going to take a few seconds. I don't know if anybody else have any questions so far.
So there is a question, and I don't know if you want to touch upon this later, but this is about the ability to use the map box view in iFormBuilder. If you don't think you have time to discuss it, I'm happy to send everyone more information on that via our follow-up email. But if you do have a second, do you want to just give a brief overview on what it is?
Yeah, so currently our mapping feature within iFormBuilder only gonna allow you to present a single point. It does not account for any geospatial geometry types like polygon lines, multi-polygons, and all these types. But yeah, but if you can share details about a mapping feature to attendants, will be great.
Great. So everyone will receive an email after this email, or after today's webinar. In the next 48 hours, you'll receive an email, and we'll be sure to include a link on that map box functionality within the iFormBuilder.
All right, thank you, Barrett. Now that ArcGIS processed my GeoJSON file, I can go ahead and open it in the map. So when I open it in ArcGIS Online, it's going to ask me a few questions. So let's say it's going to be type, and we use this option here. So you're going to see multiple layers. And if I click on the table view, I'll be able to see different additional details. So let me just customize this, my pipe layer here based on the type of the pipe. So now I can actually color code. Gas is going to be red, sewer is going to be blue, and electrical is going to be green. So if you look at the data here, this is a data that I just collected on my iForm. So this is building 108. So it was able to construct a polygon area. And you're gonna see here, I have electrical line is a green. So as I marked it on my map, it starts from the beginning of the street to my house here. So if I click on it, it's gonna give you site name and type. Same thing, if you click on the red one, it's gonna give you building and type of pipe, and same thing for the sewer. So this is pretty much a process to be able to generate a GeoJSON file and be able to collect just not only a single point geolocation, but also be able to construct area, polygon area, or be able to draw the line on the map. So I think this is pretty much for my demo. So I'm gonna head and open up for any questions that you guys have.
Hi, Or. So there's two more questions. One of them is about how you produce the GeoJSON. Would you mind just reminding everyone how you did that?
So GeoJSON is was produced within the Dataflow itself. So when it's created a GeoJSON data here, and I'll be able to go and export to JSON file from this record set here, or from this demo, I just created a quick web user interface to simplify the user download of the JSON file.
Great, thank you, Or. And then the second question that I have right now is, if someone wants to register a measure on site, does iForm detect which region that they're entering the data?
No, iForm does not detect, but this is a good thing. As you collect the geospatial data, you'll be able to run geospatial analysis on this data, and you'll be able to actually, to example, measure area. To example, if you try to measure farm in hectares, it's be able to calculate how many hectares in this polygon, or what's the distance for you pipe. So this is features of geospatial type software that you can consume the data from iFormBuilder.
All right. Well, thank you, Or, for your responses, and thank you for your presentation. If anyone has any more questions for Or as we go through these final slides, please go ahead and put them in the question area. As well as we'll have a follow-up email sent, and if you come up with any questions later on, you can also submit them there. Before we end today's session, we did want to get some feedback on some of the things that we're working on. One of the main things that our team's been working on recently is to update our user management screen. So I wanted to briefly go through what that looks like. So, Aura, if you could go to the next slide. Okay, so here's what we've come up with for our user management. You'll notice in here, this looks very different from what we currently have within iFormBuilder. We're trying to make it so that you have a better user experience as you're managing all your users, but also give you some more functionality that you haven't had before. So you'll notice on the left-hand side, we have a kind of like a menu option here where it defaults to show this info section, which will show you how many users you have and how many of them are active. It'll also show you how many user groups you have. Now, if I were to click the button to the right of that, that has the two people icon, that's actually going to show you all the user groups that you have, and you'll be able to go in and click on one of those user groups to then see a list of the users within that user group on the right in the right-hand table. Now the last icon that you'll see in that little menu on the left is those three bars. That will allow you to define what columns are being displayed in this table. So if you're looking for certain information and you don't want to have all of these columns being displayed, then you can go in and deselect some of the columns to only have the ability to see what you want to see. You'll also notice that we have some what we're referring to as batch action icons. These are in the gray menu. We will have these defaulted or have these so that you're unable to click on them until you select one or multiple users from the list. So some of these batch actions include deleting users, adding users to different user groups, activating users, and even downloading a whole list of your users as well. So the batch actions can be applied to everybody in your account, which is, I think, extremely helpful. We do like to mention to everybody that we have a beta testing program, and we are often looking for new beta testers. So if you're not a beta tester, we'll be sure to include all the information within our follow-up email, but also when we send you the slides, you'll be able to click on each one of these links to get more information and to join our program. Now on our last slide here, we just want to thank you all for attending. I want to thank Orr for presenting, and thank you all for your feedback. And if there's ever anything that we can do, please let us know. I do see that there are some more questions coming in, so I'll pose those to Orr now. But if anyone needs to go, just thank you very much.